There's a quiet power in moving in silence. In a world where everyone is shouting their plans, posting every step, and seeking validation, the real game changers are the ones who keep their vision close and let their results do the talking. When you stop telling everyone what you're doing and start showing them through action, you shift from noise to impact. You don't need to announce greatness. You become it. This is about focus, strategy, and protecting the energy that builds your future. When you make the decision to stop talking about your plans and start proving them through action, everything in your life begins to shift. The truth is, talk is cheap. Words can give temporary excitement, but they don't build anything real. The people who spend their days telling everyone what they're going to do are often chasing validation more than they're chasing achievement. They want to feel that rush of approval, the nods, the "that's amazing" comments. But that high doesn't last. And worse, it tricks your brain into believing that you've already accomplished something when you've only announced an intention. That's why silence is so powerful. It forces you to trade the illusion of progress for the reality of it. When you let your results speak louder than your words, you stop wasting energy trying to impress others and start using that energy to build. There's a special kind of confidence that comes from doing the work when no one is watching. It's quiet, but it's strong. You're not looking around for applause. You're focused on the mission. You're not explaining your every move. You're executing it. And when the moment comes to reveal what you've built, it hits with a force that no speech could match. Because results are undeniable. People can doubt your words, but they can argue with your ideas, but they can't argue with evidence. They can't ignore success that's standing right in front of them. Think about it. Every time you tell someone about a big plan, you give away a piece of that power. You're seeking a reaction, consciously or not. And that reaction can shift your momentum. Maybe they praise you and you feel content, and suddenly the urgency to follow through decreases. Or maybe they question you, and their doubt plants a seed of hesitation that wasn't there before. Either way, your trajectory is affected. But when you hold it close and stay focused, there's nothing to derail you. You're not waiting for anyone to agree with you or hype you up. You're creating something real. There's also a psychological shift that happens when you stop announcing and start doing. Your identity begins to align with action instead of intention. You're no longer the person who talks about what they'll do. You become the person who does. Every day you show up, put in the work, and stack the bricks, your sense of self gets stronger. You stop needing validation because your own progress becomes your proof. That's when discipline becomes natural. That's when momentum becomes unstoppable. The world is full of noise. People are constantly broadcasting their plans, their dreams, their next moves. But very few are actually building anything meaningful. The ones who rise above are the ones who stay focused while everyone else is distracted. While others are busy posting and talking, they're in the background constructing something extraordinary. And then, one day, they step forward with undeniable results. And the world takes notice, not because they said they would, but because they did. There's another layer to this, the power of surprise. When you talk too much, you give the world time to doubt, to analyze, to predict. But when you stay quiet and focused, your results arrive like a shockwave. People didn't see it coming. That element of surprise gives your achievements even more weight. It's like walking into a room where everyone underestimated you, and instead of explaining your worth, you simply demonstrate it. The silence before the impact amplifies the impact itself. Many people fear that if they don't talk about their plans, they'll lose motivation. But that's a misunderstanding. Real motivation doesn't come from external validation. It comes from internal commitment. When your goals are real, you don't need to announce them to stay driven. You wake up with purpose because you've made a promise to yourself, not to the crowd. And when you fulfill that promise, the reward is far greater than any praise you could have received along the way. Another reason silence works is because it filters out unnecessary pressure. When you tell the world what you're working on, suddenly you're carrying their expectations. You start to feel watched. You start to perform for them, not for yourself. That pressure can become suffocating, and for some, it leads to quitting before even starting. But when your journey is private, the only person you answer to is yourself. You can move freely. You can fail, learn, adjust, and keep going without the weight of other people's opinions. Your silence also commands respect in a way that words never can. People learn to watch what you do, not just what you say. They start to realize that when you show up, you're bringing something real. That builds a different kind of reputation, one rooted in credibility, not hype. Over time, this makes your presence more powerful. When you do speak, people listen because they know you've earned the right to speak through results. Think of every great accomplishment you admire. Behind it, there was a period of quiet work, a season where no one was clapping, no one was watching, no one even knew what was happening. It was just relentless effort, day after day, with no guarantees and no spotlight. That's where greatness is forged, not in the noise, but in the silence. You might feel tempted at times to share everything because you want people to know you're making moves. But the truth is, the best way to make them know is to let your success announce itself. People don't forget a powerful result. They might scroll past your declarations, but they won't ignore your achievements. Actions leave a deeper mark than words ever could. The discipline to stay quiet isn't about hiding, it's about focusing. It's about channeling all your energy into doing the work instead of talking about the work. And when you do that consistently, something incredible happens. Your results start to speak for you louder and clearer than any speech could. Every day, remind yourself your results are your voice. Your success is your statement. You don't need to convince anyone of what you're capable of. You need to show them. And the best way to do that is to work in silence. Let the noise fade away and allow your actions to echo. When you truly commit to this principle, you'll notice a sense of power building inside you. You'll no longer feel the urge to broadcast your every move. You'll feel calm, grounded, and focused. Because deep down, you know what you're building. You know that eventually the world will see it too, and when that moment comes, it will speak louder than anything you could have said. So, keep your head down. Put in the work. Stop chasing applause. Stop explaining. Stop announcing. Just build. Let your silence become the foundation, and let your results become the thunder that follows. Because in the end, talk fades, but results last. Your dreams are fragile in the beginning. They're like small flames trying to survive in the wind. One careless comment, one doubtful look, one negative voice can blow them out before they've even had a chance to grow. That's why protecting your vision is not optional, it's essential. When you keep your plans and your goals private, you create a shield around them. You give yourself the space to build strength, clarity, and conviction without interference. The moment you start telling everyone what you're working on, you open the door for their opinions, their fears, their insecurities, and their limitations to step in. And not everyone will see what you see. Not everyone has the capacity to understand your fire. Some will doubt you, some will discourage you, and some will try to reshape your dream into something smaller, something safer. If you let those voices in too early, they can plant seeds of hesitation that grow into obstacles inside your own mind. There's a powerful peace that comes when you hold your vision close to your chest. When you don't feel the need to explain yourself to everyone, you stay connected to the core of your mission. You stop seeking outside permission to pursue it. Your goals are personal. They were born from your experiences, your pain, your desires, your values. No one else can fully understand them the way you do, and no one else needs to. When you protect your vision, you keep it pure. You keep it from being diluted by the noise of people who don't share your perspective. This isn't about secrecy for the sake of mystery. It's about focus. It's about recognizing that too many voices can create confusion. And confusion is the enemy of execution. People will always have something to say. Some will genuinely want to help, but their help is shaped by their own fears. They'll tell you why it's too risky, why it's not realistic, why it's safer to settle. Others will criticize not because they care, but because your ambition reminds them of what they're not doing. Your vision threatens their comfort zone, and the easiest way for them to feel safe again is to try to shrink yours. This happens more often than people admit, and if you're not careful, you start internalizing their words. Doubt seeps in slowly. You replay their comments. You start questioning your abilities. Before you know it, the fire that once burned so brightly is flickering. That's why silence is your armor. When you keep your goals protected, you keep those external doubts out of your mental space. Building something meaningful requires a mental environment that's clean and strong. It requires unwavering belief. And that belief can be shaken if you constantly expose it to outside noise. Protecting your vision means creating boundaries, deciding who gets access and when. In the early stages, that circle should be small or even non-existent. It's not about being antisocial or mistrusting everyone. It's about understanding timing. A plant needs time to take root before it can withstand harsh winds. Your goals are no different. Give them time to grow strong in silence. Nurture them without interference. Once they're strong enough, they can face the world. But if you expose them too soon, they may not survive. There's another powerful aspect to protecting your vision. It allows you to work without distraction. When you constantly talk about your plans, you end up spending mental energy explaining, defending, or justifying what you're doing. That energy could have been used for creating. Every conversation about your goals becomes another mental tab left open, slowly draining your focus. When you keep it to yourself, your mind stays clear, your focus stays sharp. You move without needing to check in with anyone's opinions. You're not swayed by their doubts, nor inflated by their praise. You simply work. It's also important to understand that not everyone is meant to be part of your journey. Some people are only meant to see the results, not the process. Your process is sacred. It's where your ideas take shape, where your discipline is forged, where your true self is tested. Not everyone deserves to be in that space. When you let the wrong people into your vision too early, you invite unnecessary pressure and expectation. Suddenly, you're performing for them instead of building for yourself. You start to shape your actions around how they might react, instead of what's truly best for the goal. That's dangerous because it disconnects you from your intuition. Protecting your vision keeps you aligned with your instincts and your truth. Doubt from others can be powerful, but what's even more dangerous is how subtle it can be. Sometimes it's not an outright, "You can't do it." Sometimes it's a raised eyebrow, a skeptical laugh, or a well-meaning, "Are you sure?" Those little moments might seem harmless, but if you're not grounded, they chip away at your confidence. It's like water wearing down rock. Slowly, over time, protecting your vision is how you prevent those cracks from forming. You don't give people the chance to sprinkle their uncertainty on your fire. You keep your flame covered, and you keep it burning. Another reason to protect your vision is because dreams often start messy. In the beginning, your plans might not make sense to others because they're still evolving. You might not have all the answers yet, and that's okay. But if you share too soon, you open yourself to criticism at a vulnerable stage. People will judge an unfinished product as if it's final. They'll question things that you're still figuring out. That external pressure can make you doubt your own creative process. But when you protect your vision, you give yourself the freedom to experiment, to fail, to adjust without judgment. You give yourself the space to build something strong and authentic before the world sees it. Your vision is like a treasure map. Not everyone should know the path you're taking, because not everyone is meant to find the treasure with you. Some might try to discourage you from following the map. Others might try to take shortcuts or even sabotage your journey. By keeping the map close, you maintain control of the direction. You decide when and how to share pieces of it. You decide who gets to walk beside you and who doesn't. That control keeps your journey intentional, not reactive. There's a deep sense of empowerment that comes from knowing you don't owe anyone an explanation for your dreams. You don't have to justify why you want what you want. You don't have to convince anyone to believe in you. That's not their job. That's yours. Protecting your vision is about standing in that power and saying, "This is mine to build, and I will share it when it's ready, not before." Many people underestimate how fragile their belief can be in the early stages of a goal. When you first decide to pursue something big, your excitement is high, but your confidence is still forming. You're fueled by passion, but your foundation isn't fully solid yet. That's when you're most susceptible to outside influence. By keeping your vision protected during this time, you give yourself the chance to solidify your foundation. Once your belief is unshakable, no amount of doubt can affect you. Imagine a sculptor working on a masterpiece. He doesn't invite the world into the studio on the first day to comment on the block of marble. He spends months, maybe years, chiseling away in private. Only when the sculpture begins to take form does he open the doors. Why? Because early opinions could disrupt his flow. They could make him second-guess his vision. The same applies to your goals. Sculpt in silence, chisel away in your own space. Let the masterpiece reveal itself when it's ready. Protecting your vision isn't about isolation. It's about intention. It's about deciding who and what gets access to the most vulnerable part of your dream. It's about recognizing that not everyone is equipped to nurture your vision the way you are. And when you honor that, your dream has the space to grow into something extraordinary. So keep your plans guarded. Let your vision grow in peace. Trust that when it's strong enough, it will speak for itself. You don't need everyone to understand your journey right now. You just need to keep walking it. Protect your flame, nurture it, and one day it will become a fire that the world can't ignore. Success isn't built on loud declarations, it's built on quiet, strategic movement. When you operate with strategy instead of emotion, you move with purpose. Every step is calculated, every action is intentional, and nothing is wasted on proving yourself to the world. The moment you start announcing your every move, you give away your advantage. You allow others to analyze, prepare, copy, or even sabotage. But when you keep your plans quiet and make your moves deliberately, you stay unpredictable. People can't prepare for what they don't see coming. They can't compete with a strategy they can't figure out. Strategic silence turns your journey into a powerful force that others can't easily decode. Too many people let their emotions drive their actions. They get excited about a new idea and immediately tell everyone. They seek praise before they've even taken the first step. But excitement alone doesn't build lasting success. Emotion without discipline leads to scattered action. You may feel fired up for a moment, but once the initial rush fades, there's often little left to sustain the momentum. Strategic movement, on the other hand, doesn't rely on hype. It relies on clarity. It's the understanding that not every move needs to be broadcast, not every idea needs to be shared, and not every step needs validation. When you operate like this, your energy stays focused on the mission rather than being diluted by unnecessary chatter. Think of life like a chess game. The best players don't tell their opponents what their next move will be. They observe, they calculate, and then they make a move that changes the entire board. Quiet strategy is what wins the game, not loud promises. When you move strategically, you keep your cards close to your chest. You're not acting out of impatience or ego. You're acting because it's the right move at the right time. You're no longer reacting to the world. You're making the world react to you. Strategic movement also helps you stay grounded. When you operate emotionally, you're more likely to make impulsive decisions. You might take on projects because someone pressured you, or abandon goals because someone doubted you. You might reveal too much information because you wanted instant approval. But strategy is different. Strategy teaches patience. It teaches restraint. It allows you to play the long game. You're not concerned with short-term recognition because you're focused on long-term impact. You understand that silence today can lead to shockwaves tomorrow. Another powerful aspect of strategic silence is how it builds momentum. When you talk too much about what you're going to do, you give your mind a premature sense of accomplishment. You trick yourself into feeling like progress has been made when it hasn't. This leads to stagnation. But when you keep your moves private, your only reward comes from actual progress. Every step forward fuels the next one. You become addicted not to the applause, but to the advancement itself. That kind of momentum is unstoppable because it doesn't depend on anyone else. It comes from within. Strategy also keeps you from revealing weaknesses prematurely. In the early stages of any plan, there will be flaws, gaps, and uncertainties. That's natural. But if you reveal those stages to the world too soon, others may exploit those weaknesses. Some may discourage you, some may copy and get ahead, and some may simply interfere. But when you move strategically, you give yourself time to refine your craft before showing it. By the time the world sees what you've been working on, it's already strong, polished, and ready. That's why the impact is so powerful. It appears sudden to everyone else, but to you, it was the result of quiet, consistent strategy. Moving strategically doesn't mean being passive. It means being deliberate. It's not about hiding because you're afraid. It's about choosing the right time to reveal your power. Think about storms. You don't hear them planning. They gather strength in silence, and then, without warning, they arrive with force. That's what strategic action does. It gathers energy in silence, then strikes at the perfect moment. There's also a psychological advantage to strategic silence. When people don't know your next move, they can't predict you. They can't control the narrative. They're forced to watch, wonder, and react. This gives you control over your path. You're not bending to their expectations, you're setting the tempo. When you tell everyone what you're going to do, you hand them the power to influence your direction. When you keep your strategy quiet, you keep that power for yourself. Another benefit of moving strategically is the freedom it gives you to fail quietly. Failure is part of growth. But when you announce everything, every setback becomes public. And that public pressure can crush your confidence. When your strategy is private, you can fail, learn, and adapt without the noise. You can pivot in silence, fix what's broken, and come back stronger without anyone knowing the struggles behind the scenes. That's how true resilience is built. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows where growth happens. Strategic movement also teaches humility. You stop caring about proving your worth with words. You stop needing to be seen all the time. You learn to let your work speak for you when it's ready. This humility keeps your ego in check and allows you to focus entirely on execution. Ego is loud, strategy is quiet. Ego wants immediate recognition, strategy wants lasting success. When you choose strategy over ego, you win in the long run. Operating strategically changes how you handle opportunities as well. Emotional movers jump at every opportunity that looks good on the surface. Strategic movers evaluate, plan, and act only when the timing is right. They understand that saying no to the wrong opportunities is just as powerful as saying yes to the right ones. This focus allows them to build something stable and intentional instead of scattering their energy across 100 directions. When you move strategically, people often underestimate you at first. They might think you're not doing much because you're not constantly talking about it. But that underestimation is one of your greatest advantages. While they're watching others who are loud and obvious, you're in the background making moves they can't see. And when you finally step forward with undeniable results, they're caught off guard. They can't figure out how you did it because they weren't paying attention. This element of surprise magnifies the impact of your success. Strategic silence also allows you to maintain control over your emotional state. When you announce your plans, you become emotionally tied to how people react. If they're supportive, you feel great. If they're dismissive, you feel deflated. But when your moves are private, their reactions don't matter. Your emotions are tied to your progress, not their opinions. This emotional independence is critical for long-term success. Another key part of strategic movement is adaptability. When you keep your plans quiet, you have the flexibility to adjust them without anyone noticing. You can test, experiment, and refine without external pressure. But when you announce everything, every change is seen as inconsistency. People start questioning your direction, even when those changes are necessary for growth. By staying silent, you give yourself room to evolve naturally. Strategic action also builds a powerful reputation over time. People begin to associate you with results, not talk. They start to realize that when you finally reveal something, it matters. This makes your voice carry more weight. When you speak less but deliver more, every word becomes more impactful. You don't need to convince anyone of your abilities. They see them. Most importantly, strategic silence allows you to stay in control of your destiny. You're not living by someone else's timeline or expectation. You're moving when it's right for you. You're unveiling your achievements when they're ready, not when people demand it. You become the architect of your own narrative. Strategic movement takes discipline because it's tempting to talk. It's tempting to share your excitement with the world. But the most powerful moves are often made quietly, without warning. When you master the art of quiet strategy, your life stops being a series of emotional reactions and starts becoming a deliberate journey toward greatness. You move with intention, not impulse. You act with precision, not noise. And when the time comes to reveal what you've built, the impact is unforgettable. So choose to move strategically. Keep your vision clear, your plans close, and your actions deliberate. Let the world wonder what you're building. Let them underestimate you. Let them question your silence. And when the time is right, let your results arrive like a force they never saw coming. Because in the end, strategy always outlasts emotion, and quiet power always leaves the loudest echo.